Hey guys. Sorry about the small lighting change. I don't know why it wants to do that all of a sudden. Welcome back. I've been doing this for over 2 months now. Sorry, I'm fiddling with it to find proper lighting. It wants to keep trying to dim and lighten. I don't want you to be able to see my washed out face. As promised, this was going to be a doozy, and it's definitely going to be. I had an interview for a job that was interdepartmental 2 weeks ago, 2 Mondays ago. Long and short of it is, I didn't get the job. And I'm been up since 6 this morning. I couldn't sleep any longer. My mood has been kind of fluctuating throughout the week since I found out Friday, this past Friday, that I didn't get it. And people were like, well, sure, you're going to be bummed that you didn't get the job. Well, I'll explain. To kind of give you a preview of what how that interview thing went. I worked that day, so I did this minimal makeup before I went to work. I brought my suit with me. I worked with some very gracious people that allowed me to get out beforehand, change, go to the interview. It didn't feel any different than the interview I had prior, except the people who were on the board were different. But there are very few people I don't know because I worked for the department for so long. This is what I wore, sans the tie. I wanted to put the tie on to kind of... This is the tie I'll be wearing for Molder at MegaCon, so I wanted to kind of see how the look came together. And I wanted to show you guys, I guess, what you'll expect at MegaCon. Even though, despite what now this suit has a memory attached to it, I'm still going to try to make the best of it. I will do something else with my hair. Like I said, I've been up, and this is the most effort I have for where my headspace is. I went to the interview. Like I said, I didn't feel anything different. Didn't hear anything back. A number of people had asked me about it. I told them I felt the same about I did before. A lot of people thought the way I did, that I'd have no problem getting it because of more than a year experience within that department. And to the best of my understanding, nobody going for the job also, they didn't have any experience that I knew of. So Friday, I was at work, got a call from the supervisor of the unit. He was also on the board, and he did the typical thing of, hey, I'm calling around. I wanted to thank you for your time and coming out and stuff. I thanked him for the opportunity. He's like, appreciate it, but we wanted to tell you that you didn't get the job. And I think I had probably the best example to human equivalent of does not compute. The gears kind of went. Now, don't take me as arrogant or overconfident, because I'm not. I'm confident in my abilities, but not so much that, there isn't somebody better. And I said, he's like, well, and I stopped talking for a minute, and he said, well, if you have any questions. And I said, no, I don't think I have any. I think you've answered everything succinctly. I just hope that whoever you picked, their experience, is a boon to your department. And he said, well, it had nothing to do with your experience. Okay, now I have a question. What is it? Well, we didn't think you were sincere enough. We didn't think you wanted it. To give you a bit of a backstory about the person I'm talking to, I've known the man for greater than 11 years. I've worked with him on night shift, and I've seen him. He hasn't been on our shift, but I've seen him passing shifts. You the fool. I put in for a job. A job that I had before. acted the same way that I did before. And you've known me for years and know that I'm not I don't exaggerate. And I only answer questions asked. That's all I've ever been. Sans the tie, as I said. This is how I showed up to my interview. Right? This is how I showed up to my interview. I brought a suit to work. I put in for the job. Now, like I said, this man's known me for years. If I don't want to do something, you ain't gonna get me to do it. Now, I'm not so stubborn that, it's not like you can't get me to do anything. But if it's on a volunteer basis, and it's something I really don't want to do, you're not gonna get me to do it. I put in for the job. I came in like this. I spoke succinctly, honestly, clearly, looked you in the face, but I'm not sincere. Okay. Fine. Have a small paradigm shift for a minute. And I go, okay, alright. Take care then. Click. Alright, you have to hear the chair for a minute. So, there was rumors swarming around the review board. As expected. It's inner office stuff. It's going to happen. So I won't get into any of that because it's rumor. However, what isn't rumor is the person that got it just didn't. I have over a year experience. Been working for the department for 11 years. This is how I've always been. You can't expect me to be anything different. The person who got it is, well, you know what? The person didn't lack experience. That is by and large. In a working environment, I would think that you would want somebody who was self-actuating, self-determining, punctual, and already had a good amount of experience and was willing to come back to continue said experience. Now, I knew in the interview the question of why I left and went to this other job, and summarily that job didn't work out and I had to come back as my former job. I knew that question was going to come up and I answered it. And they even thanked me for my honesty. But yeah, so I can't help but think, what am I really doing? If I leave the department and I go and do this other job and as a mortician or whatever, I used to say that I am not really sincere there either. That's what's been in my headspace, is like, maybe I shouldn't even bother. Because clearly my experience in this instance didn't matter. That it always has to do about looks and my face and who I know, and I can't see my face. I don't know if I'm sincere. I know inside that I am. But I don't know how I look or how I can convey it to make it seem like I'm sincere. When it's also further revealed that the individual that got it would have had it before, but they had turned it down when they discovered they were going to get a pay cut. And that's why it fell on me the first time. I was the second shiniest turd. You said I didn't get the job because I didn't seem sincere when I took the job making less money. Because I wanted to do something else And I didn't want to lose my time within the department. Now that person has it. Because the pay is comparable. It's comparable to what she already makes. But I'm insincere. My time, my experience, all of it. It doesn't mean anything. And then you start thinking in the grand scheme of things. Well, how far does this rabbit hole go? Is it just here? Is it just this department? Is it other jobs? Other jobs will look at me and think the same thing? Yeah, sure. I've had my problems in the past. Ones of which that evidently the department has a really long memory and wants to keep reminding me about. But when I get passed up by people who've had the same issues, and even worse so, it makes me wonder if that's the issue at all, and it's just me as a person. I want to forge on. Initially, I was more emboldened than ever to just get out. First thought always is, I'm done. I'm done with this place. Anybody would. Now, I'm not a sore loser. If the job went to somebody who had other experience from another department, had a degree even, great. Best man won. But in this instance, I guess I'm too ordinary. I don't appear friendly. My name rarely comes up in things about disputes. I rarely complain. Just a cog. I don't want to be a leader. Rather support the lead. To kind of give you an idea, the person that's over it now is not the person that was over it when I was in it prior. But I've known him for years. So you'd think that one less stressor would be having to train somebody, but then I think macroly, as I've mentioned, outside this department, how far does it go? Will I have an issue getting a mortician job because I don't look sincere enough? This is my face. The only way a lot of times you can tell that I mean anything is the sound of my voice. When you get my face to move, you better run. Because that means you have gotten to me. Yeah, I smile in selfies and I smell. Glorious. I smile in pictures and sometimes you can get me to openly laugh. But 90% of the time, this is my face. Can you tell how I feel at this moment? Can you tell how I feel at this moment? If you just saw? Here. Can you tell that I might secretly despise you? Can you tell that I'm secretly tired of your shit? Can you tell that, I really do like you? I'll find a way. And I'll buck up and deal, and I have to wrap this up. It's been going on too long already. But Thanks for supporting me, guys.